Hey, Dan Candell here, creator of the Anxiety Relief Revolution. They call me the Anxiety Relief Guy. So I just saw about 4 clients today in my office for anxiety, all in that chair right there. I like to call it the magic chair of change. And there's a theme that every single client had, and that is that they feed a lot of energy into their anxiety. And I want to share a little insight into what I told them to stop the anxious program in its tracks. So let's get started right now. All right, so anxiety manifests itself in many forms. It can be stress, overwhelm, doubt, fear, nervous tension. It can be self-limiting beliefs. Anxiety manifests itself in many different forms, and they're all symptoms of anxiety. And I work with a lot of business owners and business professionals where they feel literally so overwhelmed, or they doubt decisions that they make. And it's very important to know what I'm about to tell you. One of the strategies that can really help you, take the energy out of the anxiety. So first thing to know is anxiety needs energy to feed itself. The more you keep questioning or asking questions about the anxiety or questioning yourself, did I do that right? What happens if they don't like me? What happens if I didn't make the right decision? The more you do that, the more energy it feeds into anxiety. So then it kind of builds and builds and builds. What we need to do is ask ourselves better questions to literally pull the energy away from the anxiety. And what that does, it scrambles the anxiety up so it can't hold itself together anymore. So instead of feeding into the anxiety, instead, ask yourself this series of questions. How do I want to feel instead? So when you're feeling anxious, ask, how do I want to feel instead? Instantly, that boom, breaks the anxious pattern. How do I want to feel instead? Well, right now I'm feeling stressed, or I'm feeling overwhelmed. How do I want to feel instead? Okay, so that's number one, is start to shift out of that by asking, how do you want to feel instead? It causes your mind to go into more of a solution resource state. Number two, ask yourself this question: what happens when I'm feeling this way that I want to feel? So once you identify how you want to feel instead, ask yourself, what happens when I feel this way? And make sure you're saying this way, not that way. Number three, ask yourself the question, how do I know when I'm feeling this way? Well, when I'm feeling this way, I feel light, I feel comfortable, I feel relaxed. And finally, ask yourself, when are some times that I've felt this way before? And you start to create those times in your mind. And here's the caveat though. In the moment, it might be hard to come up with those times. So in a time where you're not feeling anxious, I want you to come up with what we call anchor thoughts. And anchor thoughts are thoughts that you can jot down on a piece of paper that become your go-tos. So maybe it's, I love laying in bed with my dog and petting my dog. Or maybe it's, I love watching Netflix, and that's the time where I felt that way. Or maybe when I sit by a pool, or I'm on a beach, or when I saw a snowfall, or sat in front of a campfire, whatever it is, I want you to think of some times that can be go-tos for you to say, when were times I felt that way? Or even accomplishments that you made before. Maybe you want to feel accomplished. So again, whenever you start to feel any manifestation of anxiety, stress, nervous, tense, doubtful, overwhelmed, whatever it is, identify it. First say, okay, I'm feeling this way. What am I feeling? Okay, how do I want to feel instead? Again, that pulls the anxiety out of it. How do I want to feel instead? Vroom, pulls the anxiety out of it. Number three, or number two, whatever number we're on, ask yourself, what happens when I feel this way? Ask yourself, how do I know when I'm feeling this way? And ask yourself, when's a time where I felt this way before? When you do that, it will totally redirect your mind away from that anxiety, and it will literally stop anxiety and panic in its tracks in about 60 seconds or so. That's much better than staying in that panic or in that anxiety or in that emotional state for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, some people an hour, some people all day, where they literally pull the covers over their head. So you do this exercise, and it's going to start to give you amazing results. So again, my name's Dan Candell, the anxiety relief guy, creator of the Anxiety Relief Revolution. And hey, if you want to find out more, go to anxietyreliefguy.com. There's a lot of resources you can sign up for. You can sign up for a complimentary online virtual session. You can sign up to get my ebook, 7 Ways to Break Anxiety. So go on anxietyreliefguy.com and find out more. I'd love to share with you. Again, as always, be well, do good, be true to who you are. I'm Dan Candell.